Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us and watching this video. We are interfaith and civic leaders in Port Chester and Rye Brook, New York, and we've come together to offer some messages to the community in this very difficult time. We'll begin by introducing ourselves.
I am Sister Maruja Causa, more known as Maruja. I belong to the Franciscan Sisters of the Atonement, and I am a associate of the Parish St. John Bosco in Port Chester.
I am revkathygenus, pastor of All Souls Parish, the Presbyterian Church in Port Chester.
I am Rabbi Ben Goldberg. I am the rabbi of Congregation KTI in Port Chester.
Hi, I'm Joan Grangenois-Thomas, trustee for the Village of Port Chester, co-chair of the Port Chester Complete Count Census Committee.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Patrice L. Kemp Sr., the pastor of the St. Francis AME Church here in Port Chester.
Hi, I'm Joan O'Hanlon. I'm the pastor of St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Rye Brook.
I'm Father Salvador Ros, the interim priest at St. Peter's Church in Port Chester, Episcopal.
During this coronavirus time, I and my congregation have fallen in love with the work of Jan Richardson, a United Methodist minister and author. She has written a series of books on blessings. One of those books is called In Wisdom's Path. And in one of the chapters, she talks about how she cannot create something without being recreated herself. And she notes that that process changes her and leads her to places she did not anticipate going. And when I read this, there's a little short prayer that goes at the end of this. And when I read this prayer, it feels like an invitation to me, especially during this coronavirus time, that this might be an opportunity to really pay attention to our choices, that every choice we make is actually part of the process of creating our tomorrow, creating the place where we may end up as we continue through this virus time. So as we make choices, one of them is to wear our masks. This doesn't look like a mask, but it is. It's one my daughter made for me. I keep them with me all the time. And we can choose not to wear a mask. We're not required to, or we could choose that we might do that in thoughtfulness and consideration of our neighbors and our friends and people we might meet along the way. By making that choice, it just might make us all a little safer. It might help us get to the end of this virus time together in a healthy and safe way. And another choice that we make is how we love one another. We can keep our love close, considering only those in our immediate circle, or we can broaden that love and think more widely about our community, local community here in Port Chester, our state, and our nation. And we can think about others who live in circumstances that are quite different than ours. We're hearing about this virus is affecting different communities in different ways. We can make choices to think about how we can advocate for others and not only just for ourselves. So these are all different kinds of choices, and I'm sure you can come up with a list much longer that will help us, well, that will determine for us in some ways where we go as we continue to journey through this virus. So I'd like to read this prayer for you. It's really quite lovely, and I hope that somehow it speaks to you. What we choose changes us. Who we love transforms us. How we create remakes us. Where we live reshapes us. So in all our choosing, God, make us wise. In all our loving, Lord, make us bold. In all our creating, Spirit, give us courage. In all our living, may we become whole. Amen.
Hi, everybody, once again. My name is Joan, and I wanted to offer some thoughts around our civic activity during this time. And as co-chair of the Census Committee, I wanted to bring everybody up to date on where we're at and what this means. And so I want to riff, if I can, off of what Reverend Genus just talked about in terms of making choices. And so for those of you who are less familiar with the census, it is a once-in-a-decade count of everyone who lives in the country. The census does not identify whether you are a citizen or what your status is in terms of documentation, but just that every person be counted. And we only do this once every 10 years. So the census is one of those things where the playing field is level. Everybody needs to be counted. And this is a way to become a part of the larger country by including yourself in the census. And so the census represents power, money, and respect. And we have the power by completing the census because we are saying that we want to be included in our community, and we want to make sure that our community gets as much federal aid as it possibly can. And we get respect for that by the fact that the census also dictates our representation in Congress in Washington, D.C. And so we have the power by contributing our data to say that we stand with our entire community and we want to be counted. And that money that we can get from the census, from participating in the census, contributes in many ways. If you are, it supplies and it funds SNAP, or the Supplemental Nutrition Program. It helps to fund school lunch programs. It helps to fund Don Bosco Community Center. It helps to fund Open Door. It helps to fund our emergency response. And it also helps to fund bus service. And the more people that we know that live in the community, the more robust transportation services we'll get because of that. And so the census impacts us in very many ways, in ways large and small. And it impacts us as just individuals. It impacts us whether we are property owners. It impacts us as small business owners. And it impacts us particularly as parents. And again, riffing off of the idea about choice, it's an important choice that we make to participate in the census. And also, you should know that Portchester is one of the lowest response communities in Westchester County. Out of 44, we are currently in 43rd place in terms of our response rate right now. So we have a lot of work to do. And the census, before the pandemic, we had plans to do a variety of in-person, face-to-face, faking hands, talking to people activities that we can no longer do. And so we are now going to be doing phone banking in order to reach people, because again, the census does require that there be some direct contact. So we've created a phone banking program, and we could use bilingual speakers because we don't know who's going to answer the phone on the other end. And we want to make sure that the people who are making calls will be able to speak with a person, whether they speak English or Spanish. So if you have time on your hands and you want to help Portchester get the power, money, and respect that it deserves, please contact us at 2020 census ccc@gmail.com. And again, that's 2020 census ccc@gmail.com. Some other things I wanted to make you aware of as well is that we have school board and budget elections coming up locally. Those elections will take place on June 9, and they will be done completely by mail-in ballot. So everybody who is a registered voter can participate, and you should be receiving a ballot in the mail. But if you want more information, you should please contact the school district. You can email the superintendent at eklicious, that's EKLISZUS at pcrufsd.org. And perhaps we can show these contact information at the end of this presentation. But again, if you want any information regarding the school board elections, it's for school board and school budget, you can send an email to EKLISZUS at pcrufsd.org. Additionally, the upcoming primary for president, Congress, Assembly, and other local elections is taking place on June 23rd. That will also be done by absentee ballot, but then there are also going to be a few polling places that will be open. And so what you could do is go to vote411.org, www.vote411.org, to find out more information about these upcoming elections. And so again, thank you for joining us today, and our contact information. If you have any other questions for me, please do feel free to reach out to me, and we will share our contact information at the end of this program. Thank you.
I'm the Reverend Patrice L. Kemp Sr. Again, I'm the pastor of the St. Francis AME Zion Church right here in Portchester, 18 Smith Street. It has been an extremely challenging year for many of us due to the coronavirus, as all of our communities have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, we at the St. Francis Church have been working hard to stay connected to the community in order to show the love of God during this time of crisis. We as faith leaders and elected officials continue to do the work that's been assigned to our hands. In a joint effort to serve as many people in the community as possible, we have partnered with different agencies within Portchester: the Carver Center, Carteas, Don Bosco, Portchester Senior Center, the Salvation Army, and faith communities, St. Peter's, Congregation KTI, All Souls Parish, and St. Paul. What is now called the Portchester Food Network, to offer assistance to anyone that may be food insecure. We have started a food pantry to assist the seniors in our community who are unable to get to various food hubs around Portchester. West Fair Rides, located in Main Street, Mount Kisco, they've had about 10 volunteers giving their time and using their personal vehicles to deliver the food to our seniors. We did about 50 seniors on our last food giveaway. And we will have another food giveaway on the 27th of this month here at the St. Francis Church. We also partner with other food assistance programs like Feeding West. Now, for the safety of our faithful and dedicated volunteers, who are the backbone of any ministry, we practice social distancing at all times. Our pantry items are available and bags are packed ready for pickup. We will continue to deliver to our seniors and are committed to serving our community as we navigate uncharted waters. As the situation unfolds in relation to COVID-19, we are using our resources to respond to the increasing demand to help families. We are facing an unprecedented challenge. It is our mission to support the people most in need. You know, I was taught by my grandmother to always look for the silver lining in any situation. From my course of studies through the AME Zion Church to become a preacher, we were taught to look for the grace in the text. And that's why my heart is filled with joy as I witness how our community has come together to help one another, showing the good in humanity. In the midst of all the despair and depression, people are helping people, and we are committed to serving our community. I and praying God's strength as we carry on through these tough times, knowing that the Lord is our rock and our shelter in the time of storms. Pray our strength as we move forward. Now, if you would like to help, please contact one of us. Let us know how you would like to serve. Any and all donations are welcome. And you can also give via Giveify. This too shall pass, and we will get through this together. Now, thank you so much for all that you do to help your community, and just ask that you stay safe and be blessed. Thank you.
I love the way our community comes together. Our community comes together across different races and religions. It doesn't matter where we came from or how we came here. We have a vibrant community that likes to cooperate with each other. And that makes me mindful of the fact that we have another plague that has been with us from the beginning of our nation's history. And that is a plague that has risen and fallen at different times and is at a time of increased activity. And that is the plague of intolerance and violence that we see in our society, racism and sexism and anti-Semitism, forms of hatred and white supremacy that we have been troubled by throughout our entire nation's history. We as a group, many of us have come together at different times to learn more about each other and to cooperate with each other and to help our community together. And to do that as a way of showing that we believe in being a unified community that works together. We've had an annual Ramadan dinner where the Muslim community talks to us about their Muslim month of Ramadan. We have a book club called Read, Talk, Act, in which we've come together to read specifically about racism and the criminal justice system and discrimination and housing discrimination and other issues that are important to our community. So I really love that about our group, that we come together. My church, the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, has been speaking about this during this time of pandemic, that we need to be mindful of the ways in which we can either come together or we can divide ourselves against each other. Our bishop made a statement, Elizabeth Eaton, our bishop made a statement recently saying that in our longing to be together, let us be even more intentional in sharing with each other, easing each other's burdens, consoling each other in our fear and grief, condemning what is contrary to our calling to be a people who strive for justice and peace in all the earth. So I thank this group for coming together to be a witness to that unity that we seek to have.
I belong to the Franciscan Sisters of the Atonement, and I am a pastoral associate of the parish of San John Bosco here in Portchester. So most of you, or a good amount of you, know me, and they are serving our community from years. And so, as you know, we have the soup kitchen, the open closet, the food pantry, who operates always in the service of our community. All are welcome. And also, we have the service door to door. Thank you for all the volunteers who stand up in doing this driving to the homes, so that people who don't have the ability to come to our place, which is in 22 Don Bosco Place here in Portchester. And we are very grateful to all the people who make possible for us to do this ministry through your donations. Nosotros pertenecemos a la familia salesiana. Servimos a nuestra comunidad por muchos años. Todos ustedes nos conocen como Don Bosco. Tenemos el comedor, tenemos el open closet, el ropero abierto, y tenemos la food pantry. Ustedes saben que pueden venir los días martes y sábado, 7:30, 9:30, en horario ordinario. Pero ahora, a través de esta epidemia del COVID-19, nuestros servicios están limitados. Tomamos todas las precauciones del caso, todos los voluntarios utilizan máscaras, guantes, el lugar está limpio, sanitizado. Nosotros ofrecemos el almuerzo todos los días, de lunes a viernes el almuerzo de la gente. Lo vienen, lo recogen y los que no pueden, tenemos otra vez el pool de voluntarios que los llevan hasta sus hogares. Y especialmente servimos a los de la tercera edad porque ellos son más vulnerables. Y en estos momentos también tenemos muchas madres con muchos hijos en la casa. También tratamos de ayudarles hablando con ellos, los llamamos por teléfono. La ayuda espiritual es muy importante en estos casos. Y yo, en estas semanas, como ustedes saben, estamos nosotros celebrando la fiesta de María Auxiliadora. Y quiero, está para terminar ahora, y agradecerles a todos ustedes, las personas de buen corazón que hacen posible nuestro ministerio a ustedes. No seríamos cristianos si no nos identificamos con aquel que sufre. La oración de María Auxiliadora para este tiempo es: oh María Auxiliadora, Madre y Maestra, enséñanos a olvidarnos de nosotros mismos para pensar en el bien de los otros, a no anteponer nuestras pequeñas preocupaciones al servicio de los demás. Haz nuestro corazón más parecido al de tu Hijo Jesús, para sentirnos cercanos a las personas y familias que están sufriendo por la enfermedad del COVID-19. Haznos solidarios con los miles de desplazados que en estos días esperan acogida y encuentran solo rechazo y violencia. Tú eres la Virgen de los tiempos difíciles. En ti ponemos nuestra confianza, como lo hizo Don Bosco, formando juntos una familia salesiana, una red de oración incesante. De ti, María, aprendemos que el miedo paraliza y la confianza multiplica las energías y nos hace capaces de dar la vida. Amén. Ustedes ven, todos nosotros en la comunidad de creyentes estamos poniendo nuestras energías juntas y nos vamos a multiplicar. Muchas gracias.
With you, and I'd like to share a brief reflection on the cross. And as I say that, I greet you, all of you, saying Christ is risen. He is truly risen. And we who are of the liturgical church live out that resurrection message each and every day. But we also know that we cannot fully embrace the resurrection without accepting and acknowledging the cross on Good Friday. And so when I think of Christ on the cross on Good Friday as embracing the world and reconciling the world to himself and to the Father, and how all of us are called to be reconciled with God and with each other. And this opportunity given us by the pandemic is a time for us to reconcile ourselves with our family members, with our friends, with our co-workers, with the people who we worship with our non-worshiping brothers and sisters. By that I mean members of the different churches and non-churches. And we have an opportunity to really embrace everyone as Christ embraced the world for his Father in heaven. So we are truly blessed despite the suffering, because the life of a Christian, while it is a life of joy, it is also a life of embracing and accepting one's cross, a cross which leads to suffering and pain and grief and sorrow. All those who have been infected by the coronavirus during this time, all those who have passed during this time, all those who have lost their jobs, all those who have been estranged from each other because they cannot see their family members because of the contagion. We embrace all of them and we lift their hopes and their desires, their prayers, their petitions, and their intentions to God, so that we as one family under God can move forward beyond this crisis and be restored once again to God in all his splendor.
Thank you, Father Ros, for those reflections. And I want to conclude this video with just a brief thought from my own tradition of Judaism. Every time we complete one of the 5 books of the Torah, we read the final words of that book. We would have done this had we been in synagogue this past Saturday. We would have completed the book of Leviticus. And whenever we complete a book of the Torah, we read the final words, and then we all shout out, Chazak, Chazak, v'nit chazek, which means be strong, and let us strengthen one another. And what I love about that is that it means that as we reach that milestone in our year of going through the Torah, which we do every year, we say first we need our individual strength. We need to take what we've learned, and we need to take the bigger picture that we understand that we're a part of as a result of encountering our holy words and our holy tradition, that we each in our own religious and spiritual beliefs have words and stories and laws that help us understand that there's a much bigger picture beyond what's immediately in front of us that we're all a part of. And we understand that, and that is a source for each of us of individual strength. And so we say be strong and be strong again, because there's a lot that we're facing always, and especially now. And then we say, and let us strengthen one another. Let's go from a place of individual strength to strengthen one another and to help one another. And we've heard on this video all of the different ways that our organizations and in our community are being strong and strengthening one another. And I pray that we'll continue to do this, that we'll continue to be strong, we'll continue to be strong doubly, and then we'll use, from that place of strength, go on to strengthen one another, and in all the ways that we've heard about on this call. So thank you very much for being a part of this. Be strong, and let us strengthen one another.